Concerns about a potential future escalation have been raised by the recent intensification of cross-border violence between Israeli forces and the Lebanese organization Hezbollah. Following the Israeli military's announcement on Thursday that it had attacked locations in southern and eastern Lebanon, Hezbollah declared the loss of 2 fighters. In an attack with missiles and drones on Wednesday, 14 Israeli soldiers suffered injuries. Hezbollah asserted that it was in retaliation for strikes that had killed 2 Israeli military leaders the day before. Since the first day of Israel and Hamas's conflict in Gaza in October, there have been gunfights nearly every day. Hezbollah has declared its support for the Palestinian organization. Iran supports both, and Israel, the UK, and other nations have designated both as terrorist groups. Lebanese authorities and the UN report that over 330 people have died in Lebanon, including at least 66 civilians, while the Israeli military reports that 10 troops and 8 civilians have died in Israel. Tens of thousands of residents from border communities in southern Lebanon and northern Israel have also been forced to flee their homes due to the conflict. His administration issued announcements on Thursday morning stating that 2 fighters had been martyred on the road to Jerusalem, a term it has been using to describe fighters slain by Israeli fire. It identified them as Ali Ahmed Hamada and Mohammed Jamil al-Shami, but gave no other information. According to the state-run National News Agency of Lebanon, an Israeli drone strike in the border village of Kfr before daybreak claimed the lives of 2 civilians. Additionally, it stated that 6 strikes and more than 100 artillery and phosphorus shells had been launched by warplanes against the neighboring community of Qiyam. 2 Hezbollah terrorists identified in the area or Kfr were eliminated by Israeli Defense Forces (IDF) aircraft overnight, according to a statement from the IDF. Meanwhile, it said that fighter jets struck Hezbollah terror targets in the Qiyam area, including military and infrastructural facilities. According to the statement, soldiers fired in order to remove an imminent threat there as well. The IDF reported on Wednesday night that aircraft had destroyed significant Hezbollah terrorist infrastructure in northern Baalbek, which is located in the eastern Bekaa Valley of Lebanon, which is utilized by the organization's aerial defense system. This occurred just hours after Hezbollah declared it had carried out an attack that caused 14 soldiers injuries, including 2 moderate and 6 serious injuries, according to the IDF. The Israeli Defense Force, IDF, reports that several anti-tank missiles and explosive drones were fired from Lebanese territory towards the Israeli border community of Arab al-Aramshay. According to the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, 2 drones intruded, one of which exploded upon impact, and anti-tank missiles struck a community center in the Arab Bedouin neighborhood as well as surrounding cars. It said that 3 civilians and 2 members of an emergency response unit were among the injured soldiers, one of whom was listed as very ill. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, claimed to have attacked the fire's origins in addition to Hezbollah military installations and infrastructure in the Lebanon towns of Ureen and Naqoura. According to Hezbollah, it was in retaliation for the enemy's assassination of a number of resistance fighters in Anbal and Shahabiyeh that it had targeted the Israeli military reconnaissance unit's headquarters. Ismail Youssef Baz, the commander of Hezbollah's coastal sector in Anbal, and Mohammed Hussein Mustafa Shehori, the commander of the rockets and missiles unit in the western region for the elite Radwan force, were reportedly killed in strikes carried out by IDF aircraft on Tuesday. It further stated that Mahmoud Fadlallah, a member of that team, was also slain with Shehori. Hezbollah acknowledged the 3 men's deaths, although it did not name Baz or Shehori as the leaders. A rising number of people are concerned that the cross-border fighting may turn into a larger regional conflict, especially since Iran, a country that supports Hezbollah, launched over 300 drones and missiles at Israel over the weekend in revenge for Israel's bombing of an Iranian embassy in Syria earlier this month. According to the IDF, Israeli forces, along with those of its Arab and Western allies, shot down 99% of the drones and missiles. 4 missiles struck an airbase in southern Israel, although the damage was minimal. A small Bedouin girl sustained shrapnel wounds. During the strike, dozens of rockets were fired towards northern Israel from Lebanon. Further launches occurred from Iraq and Yemen, the home of armed organizations supported by Iran. In response to Iran's unprecedented direct attack, Israel pledged to strike again, but caution has been advised by Western nations.